So, first thing we want to do is top and tail the onion. Watch your fingers. I'm going to take this down straight through the middle. Like always. Take the skins off as well. I'm going to make some homemade tortillas as well. And then obviously finishing them off with the eggs and a little bit of grated cheese as well. So I'm going to use some Monterey Jack, or if you've got some different type of cheese you want to use, please feel free to use that. So we're going to keep it within the $10 range for you guys and gals. So you can try this recipe tonight on my website, !website, if you want to find out. Right, so what we're going to do, cut down the onion in little layers, little by little. Make sure you don't cut all the way through to the root like you usually. And the more layers you kind of, or cuts you get, shall I say, the more finer dice you're going to get out of the onion. Now, do the same with vertically as well. Make sure you don't cut through that root, otherwise it's going to fall apart. And watch your fingers. Using your middle finger for a little bit of guidance. Careful you don't nick your finger or your thumb, shall we say. And then just dice it up very, very nicely into a beautiful little dice. Magic. So, and then with the end piece, what we're going to do is just dice this up very nicely. And we're almost there. There we go. Beautiful. And there's your onion. Pretty simple, very straightforward. We're going to do the second one now and get that done. Pick down the thyme. So all we need to do for this is basically grab the top of the stalk and just basically pull down so you get the leaves off. So you get that beautiful thyme flavor. So make sure you remove that thyme stalk. Otherwise you can fish for it later, which isn't great fun. And if you miss it out and somebody's eating and they have a nice big chunky thyme stalk in their mouth, it's not the best. So for the recipe though, it will be dried thyme for this. But I'm using fresh thyme because I had some spare in the fridge. So why not? Let's not waste it. I'm really good. How about you? I'm doing not too bad. Making ourselves Huevos Rancheros today, so yeah, really enjoying it. So let's grate these garlic cloves down. Watch your fingers, especially if you've got like a new microplane. Just be very, very careful. So we're just going to grate this down over the onions very nicely, and then we're going to start getting a pan on the stove with about a tablespoon of oil in it. So what we're going to do, just pop that onto a medium heat. And there we go, and we want about a tablespoon of canola oil, vegetable oil, whatever you fancy. Don't need to go too crazy with it. There we go. Magic. So once that's come up to a nice little medium heat, we're going to drop the onions and garlic in it. Right, so we'll add the onions, garlic, and thyme without pouring it all over my stove, which would be nice. So there we go. Be a little bit more careful. Fantastic. So just going to grab them very carefully. Watch your fingers on the stove. There we go. So what we're going to do is take the cheek sides off on the pepper. Take the bottom off. There's a little bit left on the top as well. So this was left over from yesterday, I believe. So yeah, we used it yesterday for the chopped pork chop, which turned out great. So just remove the seeds. Also the white pith as well, you don't want that, so let's get rid of that. Okay, so we're going to slice this down into little thin slices, and then we're going to cut sideways and then cut it down into a nice little dice. If you want to keep them like this, you can do, but I feel like a nice little dice would be more appropriate for this. So watch your fingers. Beautiful, there we go. So in goes the peppers. So the onions are nice and soft. Now we're adding the peppers. Without dropping too much on the stove again. Kappa. So let's give this a little bit of a mix round as well. So we're softening these up really nicely. Now usually traditional Huevos doesn't really have kind of like peppers like this. Orange peppers at least. But I'm just adding it because it's left over. And I can put it inside the recipe, so it'll be fine. Magic. That's what we want. So we're just going to dice this up now. So that's sliced up very nicely. So what we're going to do, just a quick little dice. Seeds and all. Full of flavour in there. Skins as well. we go. Beautiful. Just dice this up very nicely. So you kind of stack them up like a pair of like cards. But don't stack them up too high because sometimes the juice kind of like slides as you cut it. But if you've got a super sharp knife, it shouldn't slide. But, you know, maybe just do 2. That it's not going to move. So we're going to give this a little mix round. Fantastic. So those are softened up really nicely. Now we're going to add the tomatoes. Add them straight into the pan. All that beautiful juice as well. Get all that juice in there. It's all that beautiful flavor. Fantastic. So I'm just going to give that another quick mix. And just let that cook for a further 2-3 minutes. Just to soften up those beautiful tomatoes. So add the can of black beans to the mix now. Fantastic. Get rid of that, and then we're going to give it a nice little mix round as well. Where's the spoon gone? That's over here. So we'll give that a nice little mix. Fantastic. So the only thing we want to add now is the spices. Some of that hatch green chili as well, just to give it a bit of spice. If you don't want to add the hatch green chili, that's fine. We're going to let this cook down for about a good 2 hours till they really soften up. But let's add the rest of the spices and we should be good. So 2 teaspoons of paprika, not too crazy, and then about half a teaspoon of cumin. I'm going to go too crazy with that. There we go. Magic. Right, so a little squeeze of half a lime in there as well. Don't need to go too crazy. There we go. Make sure you get all of that in there. Fantastic. So it's good to go. I appreciate you folks here today. You guys are wonderful. So technically that was a little bit more than 2 teaspoons, so about 2 dessert spoons pretty much, or 2 tablespoons would be fine. So there we go. So let's just give this a little mix around. If you want to add more green chili, you can do, but nah, pretty happy with this. This is going to cook down really nicely. You're going to soften up the tomatoes, cook all the spices, and just accumulate all that beautiful flavor. So we're going to add that for about 2 hours. Just cooking down very nicely, very steadily. If we need to add a little bit of water, please do so. Stir in occasionally as well. So just 1 spring onion, washed up, and that's good to go. So we're just going to slice that up really nicely. I loved how this emote turned out. Fantastic. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So spring onions are ready. Oh yeah, I want to grate the cheese, so I'll put that in a little pot ready to go for some garnish. 1/4 pound of Monterey. We don't need to use a whole pound, that's far too much. But if you want to add a little bit more, you can do. This will definitely make enough for 4 to 6 people, so you'll have plenty here. Cool, so let's grate this down. Watch your fingers. There we go. Magic. So that cheese is all good to go. We'll set that aside. 250. Beautiful. 250. I want a pinch of salt, a little bit of oil, and a little touch of water as well. So when you add the water, let's not put this in here, shall we? When you add the water, you want to add like little by little, just until it's like kind of bound together. So you don't want to go too crazy with it. About 2 tablespoons. Salt, flour, oil, and now just the water, and that's all you're going to need. So it's as simple as that. You don't need to go too crazy. So let me grab my measuring jug. We'll fill that up with water. Little by little with water. Fantastic. So don't go too crazy, because you don't want to go in like super sloppy. You just add in little by little, and just until it's like kind of bound together really nicely. So let's just give this a nice little mix up. What we're going to do, give this a nice little knead for about 5 minutes, maybe less, just until it's nice and smooth and we stretch the gluten in there. Thank you, Rexus. I appreciate it, buddy. Right, so there we go. There's our beautiful... Oh, do you know what I've forgotten to do? Instagram stories, that's okay. I'll start doing it now. It was about, what? 15 centimeters to 20, something like that. Something along those lines. So you don't want to really go too crazy with this, so let's cut this in half. So you can already see that dough is like super smooth, super nice. It's been worked very well, so that's what you're looking for. If it doesn't look like that, you just need a little bit more work on it, that's all. So so smooth, yeah, that's what you're after. So you're looking for a really nice smooth dough. I feel like we should get about 8, maybe more if we're lucky, or 10, 2, 4, 5. Probably get 6 out of this, so 11 to 12 then. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. There you go. Beautiful. Gonna do. Give this a nice little roll out. A little bit of flour on the work surface as well. So you don't need to go too crazy with the flour. Unless your dough is like really like kind of hydrated, it's really sticky, then I would probably suggest, yeah, you need a little bit more kind of flour. So I don't want them to be like too big, but also I don't want them to be too small. So, you know, maybe we can have 2 of the tortillas. Not going too crazy. If it starts sticking, just add a little touch more flour on your rolling pin as well. Don't need to go bonkers. Nice and thinly rolled out, so around about that size, which is good. So we're good to go. Alrighty, pan. My non-stick pan would be great. Just a touch of oil in there. B-Mix looks like it would smell like $1 million. Man, so tasty. Yeah, some great flavors in there. And this is my own mix, maybe not so traditional, but this is my own twist on Huevos. So if you see it and you're like, Chef, that's not right. Yeah, I'm aware of that. This is my take on it. So just going to give this a minute or two. It's not going to take long. Can you see the oil starting to kind of almost like separate in the pan? Can you see that? That's when it's kind of giving you an indication where it's just at the right heat, if that makes sense. So I've done lots of things. I've enjoyed my career. My career's been great. But now moving on to something different. I feel like this is more of a challenge in my career now. Whereas like when I was head chef, executive chef, I enjoyed it. But I don't know. I didn't find it a challenge. Whereas this trying to climb make a name for yourself is a really good challenge. And to be honest with you, I like a good challenge. Otherwise I get bored. So I always kind of like keep pushing myself. So look at that, beautiful, nicely fried off. Nice little bit of color as well, so nice and crispy, good to go. What we're gonna do, just cut this in half. Shall I do my pip trick again? I feel like I can do it with this one today. Like a little bit of magic. Are you ready for it? Hang on a sec. Achoo! There we go. Right, so let's take this out. You can scoop it, you can peel it, whatever takes your fancy. I'm just going to scoop mine. Let's give this a little crush up. So not too much garlic. If you add too much garlic in this huevos, what happens is it'll be like really strong in flavor, and sometimes it'll leave like a burning, tangy kind of sensation as well, which is not pleasant. So especially if you're not going to cook the garlic, you just want a little bit and give it time. You might not taste it now. Half an hour later, it'll marinate very, very quickly, so it doesn't take long. Right, let's give this a wash. Just give it a scrub, and then we're just going to give it a nice little peel, and then we're going to grate it down using my cheeky grater. So we're going to peel this down. So we're going to need butter for this, or clarified butter. And now, It's not part of the shopping list because butter should be like kind of, unless you're using loads of it, we're not going to need a lot. Should be like your basic commodities you should have in your fridge and, you know, your dry stores and stuff. So, right, so we'll top this up with water, cold water. For you guys at home, just let it, you can soak it for about an hour or half an hour will be fine. So it's just to get that kind of starch out of it. So you can already see it's already kind of milky already, so that's fine. Just let it soak. Just gonna melt this down on a low heat. Don't have it on too high, because if you have it on too high and it starts bubbling, what's going to happen is the milk solids are going to go everywhere. Then you got to wait for it to kind of settle down again. So for what's it called? For clarified butter, it's really important to make sure you just do it very gently. Don't go crazy with the melting. Just put it on a low heat, just so it can drain as well. I'm just going to squeeze out the excess water from it. So if you needed to get more kitchen roll, that's fine. But I would say using J cloths or kitchen cloths are a lot more easier. The blue ones, if you know what I'm talking about, they're a bit more stronger than this, but this will work for the time being. Oh, I can just squeeze it straight back into here. It's fine. There we go. Beautiful. That's what we want. So I'm going to go for 3 teaspoons for this large potato. Little bit of pepper as well. I'd say about a teaspoon of pepper as well. Don't be shy. And then the salt. But I want to add the salt last minute, so I'm just going to mix this up first. Look at that. Delicious. So that B mix is ready. We just need to season it up with a bit of salt. Taste it up. Maybe a little bit of pepper, we'll see. Shouldn't be too bad. I mean, I'm going to cook it as a large one and then I can just cut it up if I need to. That's fine. So you can do quite a few hash browns with this. You might need a little bit more butter. Right, I'm just going to flip this one over. There we go. Look at that. It's nice. It's crispy. Beautiful. That's what hash browns should be looking like. That nice, beautiful golden color. Let me turn that light on. Whoa! So, come on, camera. That's what you want to be looking for. Alright, so carefully drop the eggs in, and that's what they should be doing. Just very gentle, not too much. If it's sizzling a little bit, that's fine. So, you know, you can put them on the heat. You just want to cook them down very gently. So there we go. Here's our beautiful eggs. Ready to explode. Fantastic. Nice little tortillas there. Ready to go. So I'm going to go for a little bit of cheese on the bottom, and then I'm going to put some more on the top. So let's have a look. Just to kind of melt them. And then in between, I'm going to stack this quite high, by the way, guys. We've got the hash brown there. That beautiful hash brown, right? Just a tiny more cheese, not too much. Right, I want to fold this just nicely so it fits on perfect. Oh, it's going to slide. It's okay. Just a nice little dollop right here. Just to kind of finish things off a little bit. Just a little bit of spring onions. Pounds in there. Homemade tortillas. The homemade bean mix. We have the also the fried eggs on top. A little bit of Monterey Jack cheese in there, and then obviously the garlic, lime, and avocado. I don't know what to call it. Mush? I don't know. Crushed up avocado with garlic and lime. There you go. Look at that yolkage. That's what we're looking for. Cheeky huevos. Gotta have runny yolks. Have a great rest of your weekend. I will catch you Monday, 10 AM Mountain Time. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Take care, guys. Bye for now.